Bride of Frankenstein on 4K Blu-ray. All right, so Bride of Frankenstein on 4K uh, is a pretty big upgrade. Now the Blu-ray already looked really good, and the 4K you can see the grain frozen there in the letters. The grain is now uninhibited and very heavy. So yeah, the grain is more recognizable, but the image is also more clear than it has been before. So I think this is a huge upgrade over the Blu-ray. The sound is pretty much the same. But one thing I found out, because this is like my third time watching this movie in like two months, because I watched the Blu-ray twice to do my review of it in October, and then the 4K came, and now I've watched it to do that. But because I've watched it so many times, I decided to just watch it with the commentary, the audio commentary by Scott McQueen, and it was very informative. Sometimes it just turned into like an information dump, like almost just like an encyclopedic, like trivia, not even just trivia because that's interesting, but almost just like a line items of just like catalog almost. So almost felt like I was reading an index a couple times during the commentary, but for the most part, the commentary was really awesome and interesting. For example, boop, in this scene at the beginning with Mary Shelley, apparently the censor censored a lot of her cleavage shots out of this. So this movie had censored out of it some more overt religious references or references that kind of like attacked religion, her cleavage, and then probably at least half of the on-screen shown kills. So apparently there's a cut of this movie somewhere that has like double or triple the on-screen like murders, because I think there's about 10 deaths in it now, and the commentary guy said that they censored like there used to be like 20 plus kills. So kind of want to see that version. Okay, speaking of deaths, did you know that Blade Runner has a Bride of Frankenstein reference in it? Okay, so when the monster drowns this guy, it's going to show an owl. Kind of just chilling, not really caring. So that is like the part in Blade Runner where the Hauser guy kills his master or kills his creator, and then it shows an owl in that same scene, kind of just like just watching, not really caring. And I would argue with Ridley Scott that that is a reference to this movie, because once he releases it to us, it's ours, and we can make our own analysis of it. Anyway, that's my opinion. Is that Ridley Scott referenced this in that scene where the android goes and kills his creator, and the owl basically does the same thing. Also, look at this. He's gonna toss this lady down there. Watch your head. There's the owl again. Same kind of thing. Look at how awesome the lighting is in this scene here. I know I've got Christmas tree lights in the background, but look at that. Looks so good. Oh, and right here too. Okay, I don't know why. Well, maybe I do know why, but these little people inside of these jars, they are they just make me feel really weird. I mean, special effects wise, they look really good. It's just they just creep me out. Also, check this out. So on this scene where it shows the back of the jars, look at the back of this jar right here. I want to see if I can pause it. Boop. Look at this. So it showed the front of all of them except for this one right here. That one is a little baby, like a baby in a high chair, and apparently it looked like really weird and ugly or something. And so the censors or whoever was just like, nope, nope, no weird tiny baby. I'm not sure, but anyway, there's kind of a sneak peek of its ugly little self. Of course, the townsfolk be rioting because they wouldn't be townsfolk if they weren't rioting. This movie has so many odd little moments in it. For example, right here, you have this super touching moment where the monster meets this blind guy, and the blind guy takes care of him, and they fulfill a need for each other, and he teaches him to speak. But then you have that other scene earlier with those weird little doll people, and then there's the scene where the monster is in the catacombs eating with the doctor guy, and then there's like other just violent action scenes. So this movie has such weird, different parts to it. It's such a weird combo of parts. And then of course at the end it has that like super ultra sciency bringing the bride to life part. But anyway, there's so many weird different parts of this movie. It's really very unique and odd.
And now? Oh.
So he learns how to talk here, but then he doesn't really talk in any of the other movies. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a letdown because you feel like his character is advancing, uh, but then in the other movies he just goes back to being a grunty monster. Look at this when these two creeps come in here. This guy ends up being Dracula. He ends up being the worst Dracula, who totally deserves what he gets. He's Dracula in one of the later movies. Obviously, Bela Lugosi is the original Dracula. But yeah, this guy ends up being Dracula, and he's not as good. All right, this part is really funny. So this little maid lady comes in to tell him that Dr. Praetorius is there to see him, and he says this.
Send him away. I won't see him.
So she goes out to tell him off, and he just pops in the next door. So she goes out that door, and he just pops in there. That's awesome. This movie actually has quite a few really funny parts. So this whole sciencing really hard part at the end where they're throwing switches and things are sparking and there's all the Dutch angles and everything, with like the heartbeat in the background is really cool because it's just like progressing towards this. But once they get really close, so this is her right here and she's going to get lightninged. But once they get really close to her actually coming alive, the music almost switches from like this foreboding, like the beating of the heart, to almost like this sitcom, like Finnish music. It almost reminds me of like the finale music of the I Love Lucy episodes. Listen to this. It's like, okay, here, listen to the music again right here. It's just so, it seriously just reminds me of I Love Lucy. And they even have the drums like the dong, 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 dong at the end. Listen. You hear that? Okay, then it does a really quick cut from them pulling all the bandages off to her final reveal. And look at this thing. She's so cool looking. Look at that. Get a better angle there. There we go. She looks so awesome. Oh, and then he says the title.
Of Frankenstein.
Yes. And then listen, it's like wedding bells in the background. You hear that? Zooms in. Look at her hair. It's so cool. Look at that. Love it. First time I saw this, I was actually super bummed out that she's only in this movie for like 4 minutes. I really was hoping she'd do some cool stuff. Anyway, the time that she is on screen is very impactful and she looks super cool. Okay, so I already have a lot longer review that hardly anyone's watched from the Blu-ray earlier in the month, that I go into a lot more depth on the Blu-ray. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that the 4K is a huge upgrade and it looks amazing. It's still not perfect. There's still obviously the film grain, which is good. You want to have that because it means that the detail of the image hasn't been scrubbed out. But also, there's still some film scratches. Those vertical black lines that you see, those are some scratches in the actual film. So it still does have some of those, so that's fine. But it's a huge upgrade, and I'm really glad I got it. This movie is really odd. It has such an odd structure, but I really like it. And it's really been growing on me. I see more and more stuff the more times I watch it. I just wonder what the uncut version with all the additional crazy murders would look like. Also, listen to her crazy hissing, screeching sound here. So cool. All right, Bride of Frankenstein on 4K Blu-ray. Let me know if you've seen it and if you think it's a big upgrade. I think it's a huge upgrade. Again, like the other black and white movies, it's like the lighting is looks proper in here, whereas the Blu-ray looked a little bit more washed out. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you watched all the way to the end, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.